Russian President Vladimir Putin has made waves once again, but this time it's not only about Ukraine or Russia's foreign policy. His latest comment is quite an unexpected one. Speaking at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok in September 2024, Putin jokingly expressed his support for Vice President Kamala Harris in the upcoming US presidential election. Why? Because of her infectious laugh. It's hard not to pause and ask yourself, why would the leader of Russia, a country so deeply intertwined with global political tensions and at the heart of major geopolitical conflicts, make a comment like this? What does this say about the current state of US-Russia relations, and more importantly, why should we care about such an offhand remark? Well, it turns out that there's a lot more to unpack here. And today we're going to dive deep into the significance of Putin's statement, the context behind it, and what it could mean for global politics moving forward. Russia's history of election meddling. Let's start by recalling the history of Russia's involvement in US elections. In 2016, US intelligence agencies determined that Russia launched a disinformation campaign to support Donald Trump's bid for the presidency over Hillary Clinton. This was a significant revelation that shook the foundations of the US political system and created a new chapter of distrust between the two superpowers. The Kremlin, of course, has repeatedly denied meddling, but figures like Yevgeny Prigozhin, the late Russian businessman who founded the Wagner mercenary group, openly boasted about it, claiming Russia had interfered and would continue to do so. So, when Putin jokes about supporting Harris in 2024, there's already a shadow of doubt cast over whether it's just a joke or another strategic play in a much bigger game. Why Kamala Harris? At first glance, Putin's comment about Kamala Harris's laugh may seem like a lighthearted jab, but this comes after a very strategic statement. Earlier in the year, Putin had said he preferred Joe Biden over Donald Trump because Biden was a more predictable candidate, a classic old-school politician. Biden's consistency, in Putin's view, made him easier to understand and deal with on the international stage. However, Biden announced he would not be running for re-election, throwing his support behind Harris, his vice president. In response, Putin, with a smirk on his face, sarcastically declared that Russia would do the same and support Harris. Putin went on to describe her laugh as infectious and used that as a playful reason to back her, implying that if she's in such a good mood, perhaps she'd refrain from imposing any more sanctions on Russia. But what's really going on here? Is Putin just being playful, or is there something more beneath the surface? It's worth considering the fact that Putin's sarcasm often carries weight. His comments reflect a much larger political game, one that involves shaping narratives, drawing attention away from more critical issues, and trying to subtly influence public opinion. Harris versus Trump. It's crucial to note that Putin's comments about Harris come amid widespread speculation that Russia still prefers Donald Trump. Despite Putin's playful remarks about Harris, there's a clear strategic advantage for Russia if Trump were to win the presidency again. Trump has repeatedly praised Putin, promised to end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours, and has raised concerns about forcing Kyiv into a peace agreement on Russia's terms. It's no secret that Trump's foreign policy stance often aligns more with Russian interests, especially when it comes to weakening NATO's influence and reducing US involvement in global conflicts like the one in Ukraine. So, when Putin teases that he supports Harris, it may well be a diversion tactic, a way to throw off the media and analysts, while Russia continues to quietly favor Trump. After all, Russia's state-sponsored disinformation campaigns in the past have been aimed at creating confusion, sowing discord, and steering elections in a way that benefits the Kremlin's long-term goals. Could this be another attempt at that? The war in Ukraine. We can't talk about Putin without addressing the war in Ukraine, which continues to dominate his agenda. During the same speech where he made his comments about Harris, Putin also took the opportunity to boast about Russia's military success in the border region of Kursk. Following a surprise attack by Ukraine in August 2024, Putin claimed that his forces had stabilized the situation and were now advancing in the Donbas region, capturing territory by square kilometers. Ukraine, on the other hand, has maintained that it is still in control of key areas, and President Volodymyr Zelensky, has vowed to hold on to captured Russian territory until the war is over. But Putin, ever the confident leader, painted a picture of a weakened Ukraine, claiming that Kyiv would soon resort to recruiting young people to replenish its forces, an echo of Nazi Germany's Hitlerjugend during World War II. This language is not new for Putin, who has often labeled Ukrainian leaders as Nazis, despite the fact that Zelensky is Jewish. Putin's real focus here, however, remains the Donbass, Ukraine's industrial heartland. The battle for this region has been ongoing for months, and despite Ukraine's counteroffensives, Putin insists that Russian forces are making significant progress. By making bold statements about his military success and pairing them with lighthearted comments about Harris, Putin is attempting to project both strength and humor, two qualities that are central to his public persona. What's next? At the end of the day, Putin's comments about Kamala Harris's laugh may have seemed harmless, but they serve as a reminder that in politics, nothing is ever truly without motive. Putin is a master at manipulating narratives, whether they're about the war in Ukraine or US elections. By making a playful comment about Harris, he's drawing attention away from more critical issues, like Russia's ongoing military aggression in Ukraine, and keeping the focus on the international stage. As we move closer to the US election, it will be important to keep an eye on how these narratives continue to unfold. If you've made it this far, thank you for being with me on this deep dive into Putin's latest comments. What do you think? Was Putin's support for Harris just a joke? Or is there something more behind it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our in-depth political analyses. Thanks for watching.